Grandma's Kitchen.
There's a fiddle tune and a wooden spoon while she's stirring and singing. There's friends leaving or family land, and then the phone's usually ringing. No matter who you are or what you've done, everything's forgiven.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God. Grandma's Kitchen. And ain't it good to be in Grandma's Kitchen?
Grandma's Kitchen.
Hello everybody, Mary Janet here from Tunes and Wooden Spoons, and welcome back to my kitchen here in Port Hood, a little Cape Breton kitchen, and a little visit with a cup of tea. And today we are making raisin custard pie, and it's a pie recipe that's been passed down from a lovely lady from Glencoe Mills out of her cookbook. Not her cookbook, but the cookbook from Glencoe Mills. And I'm just so proud to be making it today. And I got it from her daughter, Sarah Bell, who gave me a copy of the cookbook that I used to have out of Glencoe Cayley Kitchens. And that was put out in 1973. So I'm really, really pleased and proud to be making this pie today. Now, I hadn't made it before until earlier this week. Their daughter, Sarah Bell, had brought me out the pie itself, and I had it, and I loved it, and it was delicious. But then I went to make it myself, and of course I was up early, and it was about 6 a.m. in the morning, and I felt it was too early to call Sarah Bell to get some clarification on the recipe. So I had to do a little bit of jiggling on my own, and it turned out delicious. It wasn't exactly the same, but it was really, really nice, and I loved it. So hello, Diane. Hello, Marie Green. I see lots of familiar faces. And Judith Ann, hello there from Perth. So we're going to get started right away. I want you to set your oven to 375. And I'm just going to go wash my hands, and then we'll get started on the pie crust. And that music that we're listening to today is, of course, my favorite fiddle CD from the Interpretive Center in Zurich called Falcha, which means welcome in Gaelic. And that particular Falcha CD is Airs and Waltzes, and I think I've been playing it from the very beginning on every Sunday that I can get a chance to play it, because every tune on it is a slow air, and it's so nice if you're just... I even played it at an event when we used to have events while everybody was having dinner. This would be at our parish hall, and it's just perfect for that. Or even if you're all by yourself and you want to listen to some nice music. So that's what's playing today. That first tune that you heard on guitar, that was Scott McMillan that was playing that tune. Hello, Donna Skull and Pat McCarran. How are you? Now, I did make a traditional two-crust raisin pie back about a month or so ago, and the recipe is on my website, www.tunesandwoodenspoons.com. But this one has meringue, and it's very similar in ways to the rhubarb butterscotch pie that we made last Sunday. Hello there. I missed the name. Michelle, I think it was. So we're going to get started. And I hope you've set your oven to 375. And let's get going on the crust. Maybe some of you have already made a single crust with your own favorite recipe, but I'm going to make just one single crust with you all right now. I have my 9-inch pan all set and ready. And let's get going. So we're going to need 1 cup of flour and some salt and 1/3 cup of shortening. And I have a glass of cold water here that I had ice cubes in. When I add my water, I'll add it from that. It's nice to have nice cold water. Okay, I'm going to put the camera down now. Holly McIntosh, hello. Okay. See if you can see my bowl here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 cup of flour. I'm actually going to turn that music down a little bit. I don't want that to interfere. And here we go. Okay. So 1 cup of flour. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Again, I'm guesstimating, just like Mama used to do. I'm just going to stir that up. And I have ready 1/3 cup of shortening already here. I'm going to put that in there. And like I usually do, I just use my hands. And I'm going to mix that all up. Okay. You're just going to mix it up till all of that shortening or lard or butter, you use what you like. And I just use room temperature shortening, always have. And I know there's science out there that says it's best to use cold lard or shortening and butter in these instances. But you know what? This works for me, and I'm not going to change now. Okay, so that's the consistency you're looking for, where all that shortening is incorporated. And you'd almost think you could stick it together there. So to this, we're going to add just a couple of tablespoons of coldest water. So I'm going to sprinkle in 1, 2, and maybe 1/2. I'll just see how it feels. I have my fork, and I'm going to mix that up lightly. That's all you need to do. Now you're just going to bring it together in a dough, and it will be wet, but you know what? I just like it like that. Okay. I'm going to put a little flour on my surface. And I'm just going to kind of, if you find your dough is too wet, just coat it with the flour and just put it in a circle. And take your rolling pin and dust it off. And I know that a lot of people can do it in between parchment paper or in between saran wrap. You do whatever you want. This is just the way I do it. And we're going to roll that out. And it's a 9-inch pie plate. So since I started with you guys, I pay more attention to the little details. That's why I know that it's 13 inches. Prior to Tunes and Wooden Spoons, I wouldn't have a clue. I'd eyeball it to know, is that big enough? Yeah, that looks big enough. And I'd put it on like that. Your rolling pin shouldn't stick at all. So if you feel that it sticks a little bit, dust it off. Okay, that's almost at 13 inch. And some of you guys are so great with your tips and things for me. One thing I never did, I always lift my pie crust up and I put it on the pie plate. But I'm going to do what a couple of you suggested. I'm just going to roll it up. Put your pie plate down and roll it back out on top of that. Isn't that slick? And now just bring it down into the corners of your pie plate. Make sure it's down and just kind of press it in. Now, I forgot to get a knife. And just trim it off. Now, some people will do it in different ways. Some people will cut it with the scissors wider than the plate itself because it will shrink. It will shrink in the oven. Some people put dried beans in there to keep it nice and flat. So I'm just going to use a fork. It won't be perfect. And then I just prick it with a fork all over so the air can get out. And sometimes you will have bubbles in it, and that's okay. All right, it's going to go in the oven, 375 for 16 to 17 minutes, okay? And while it's in the oven, we're going to make the filling, okay? All right, I'm just going to take this away. I'm going to clean that up after. There now. I'm just going to go wash my hands. I'm going to have a look how you're all doing. Yeah, people are talking about different ways of going around the pan. I know I used to just, because my sister used to, Mamie, who was on here making the ginger snaps one day, push them together, just kind of making even little pinches all the way around, and it's wonderful. Some people fold it under to make it a thicker one, and whatever works, whatever you like. I like a thin crust. I don't like a big bulky edge to my pie crust. I like it thin. And that's what happens. So, okay, I'm going to go wash my hands. I'll be right back. So, what I like to do myself, and you may do this too. When I'm making something like on the stove like this, I get everything ready ahead of time so that I'm not leaving the pot and going here and there. So I'm going to prep everything here, and I have some of it already actually done. So for the filling, you're going to need a cup of milk that's scalded. So I'm going to put a cup of milk on medium heat here now, and I know what scalded should look like. So when the bubbles are all kind of around the edges of the pot, and sometimes you'll see a little skin on the top. I don't usually, because I'm usually stirring it anyway. But you don't want it to boil. That would be a bad thing. You don't want it to boil. And if you're lucky enough to have a thermometer, like I have one of these thermometers, and you can buy them anywhere. Of course, this one is Pampered Chef, but 180 degrees absolutely is the scalded temperature. If you have something like that and you want to be absolutely sure, get yourself any kind of a thermometer that measures temperature, and 180 degrees would be. Usually I just watch it, and I know when it's scalded. So I'm going to put that on right now. I have a cup of milk already, and I'm going to put it in the pot and put it on medium heat and get that started. So I have it kind of on medium heat. Okay. And okay, now what? We're going to get everything ready. Okay, so the milk, that's in the pot. We have that turned on. And then in a saucepan, I have a saucepan here. I'm going to put the rest of the ingredients. And I'm going to turn this down. Okay. All right. So in here, I am going to put 1.5 tablespoons of flour. I previously measured it out, so that's 1.5 tablespoon of flour. And half a cup of packed brown sugar. Now, this is where the difference is in the recipes. It called for 3/4 cup of sugar. And I thought that was a lot of sugar, and I didn't know if it was white sugar or brown sugar, and it was probably white sugar, but because of my own raisin pie, I used brown sugar. I said, well, you know what, I'm just going to try half a cup of brown sugar. So that's what I'm using today. You use whatever you have there if you want to change it. So half a cup of packed brown sugar, and a half teaspoon of salt. Just a little half teaspoon of salt. Okay. And I'm just going to take my whisk and whisk that around together. Making sure the lumps are gone from the brown sugar. I'm just going to run over and check the milk. Okay, I checked the temperature and it's at 120, so it's still not ready. Oh, okay. There we go. And you're going to beat the yolks of 2 eggs. And I'm going to have another dish here to put the whites in because we're going to be making meringue. So I'm going to put the meringue in here. So in all probability, Sadie probably used just 2 eggs for the meringue. I like to use 3 egg whites for the meringue, but I'm only putting the 2 egg yolks in the filling. Okay. And I'm going to put the 3rd egg white into this dish to make the meringue nice and thick. Okay. And we're going to set that aside. And I'm going to take my whisk. You can see that. And I'm going to whisk the eggs. And I'm going to have that ready. And here I have ready a cup of raisins. So that's ready. We'll take this all over to the stove in a minute. What else do I need? And we need a tablespoon of butter and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm going to put a tablespoon. I'm not measuring it. I'm just That basically looks like a tablespoon to me. And the vanilla. I'm just going to check the milk. I'm going to check the temperature. It is ready. It's just at 178, so that's perfect. I'll actually measure out the vanilla. I don't usually, but I'll put it in with the butter here in this little dish. You're going to add about 1.5 teaspoons. So hey, we're ready. I'm going to transport all of this over to the counter. And what else do I need? I think that's it. And I'll take you with me. Hello. All right. There we go. I have my spatula with me too. Okay, now, see if I can get you into this pot. Oh, Rhoda, I can't see your last name, but thank you for sharing your kitchen with all of us. My poor little kitchen. Okay, so that's the best I can do, folks. Sorry, you can see that. So into this now, let me get my recipe straight. So in the saucepan we have 1.5 tablespoons of flour, 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then the egg yolks are mixed and whipped. And the cup of raisins is all ready. I'm going to put that there. And we have our tablespoon of butter and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. We're only going to put that in once this has thickened and the heat is turned off. You have your spatula ready. We've got our whisk. So what we're going to do now is the milk. The milk is scalded. It's ready and it's steaming. I'm just going to put a little bit in with the eggs there to temper the eggs. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more, and a little bit more. Okay. And I'm going to put the eggs in here with the brown sugar. Mix it all up. No heat on just yet. I could be using the whisk for this too, which I will. I'm going to add the rest of the milk. And I'm going to whisk that. And now I'm going to put the raisins in there. No heat is on just yet. The raisins are in there. Now let's move to your spatula. And we're going to turn the heat on. Now we're going to put this on medium. Medium. This really will probably take a couple of minutes before it starts to thicken. 2 to 3 minutes maybe. And that means your filling is cooked. Now, truth be told, what I would normally do if I was making a cream pie, and the crust is in the oven, and you take it out and you cool the crust and all of that. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to be a bad girl, and I am putting the filling into a very probable hot crust, but it'll be fine, and it's going to be gone by the end of the day, because today is Father's Day. And if there happens to be any dads out there, happy Father's Day. And today we are going over to our son Mitchell's house for supper, for surf and turf. We got a whole bunch of lobsters yesterday, and they're all cooked, and we're having some beef tenderloin steaks. And we've been over there a lot the last couple of days. And last night I made remember when we made that fruit pizza on the cookie sheet? Great for serving a bunch of people. Well, there was a bunch of family. We were Laura's family were there. Her mom and dad were there, and her sister, and then ourselves. And so we had the fruit pizza. So there's half of that is left over, and then we've got this raisin pie. I'll be taking a couple of slices over for Mike, Mitchell's father-in-law, because he loves raisin pie, but nobody else likes raisins, so I just have to save a piece for Mike. And he might have 2 pieces, you never know. Okay, this is coming along really nicely. And that's been about, almost 2 minutes now. I'm just going to see how everybody is. Hi. Surf and turf. I know, it's great. And it's a beautiful day. As you know, I've already told you that we're having Steve McIntyre here today. He's an amazing singer. And I hope some of you got a chance to listen to that post that I did today of Steve with his partner, Robin. They wrote a song together for the tragedy in Nova Scotia last spring when at Portapique. And it's a beautiful, beautiful song. So anyway, we'll be enjoying some of Steve's music, and he's actually playing a little later on in St. Peter's. Where are you playing in St. Peter's? Verdor Lakes Inn. Oh yes, my nephew Aaron and Mitchell played there before the last lockdown. So I had our daughter Krista came home yesterday just for the night, and little Charlie, this is already cooked. I'm just going to turn the heat off on this. I'm going to check the pie crust first. Now, let's see. Yes, I'd say that pie crust is done. You see that? That's nicely done. And I'm just going to put it over here on the cooling rack. And I'm just going to show you the filling. So, can you see that? So, it's nice and thick. The heat is off. And now I'm going to put in my butter and my vanilla. And mix that around until it's combined. I think in my post leading up to this recipe, when I posted on Wednesday, I told you a little bit about Peggy and Sadie Beaton and from Glencoe Mills, and how they always had a glint in their eye. They were just a wonderful, And you never saw one without the other. For years, I didn't know who was who. I knew they were sisters, and one was Janagus Beaton's wife, but they looked similar, and they were both just, and they were always dressed, all dolled up, just always dolled up, and the lipstick and the whole 9 yards. And just to think that they made pie like this, I'm so happy to be making that today. Okay, I'm going to bring you back to the table. And I'm going to take the cooling rack over, and I'm going to be sitting here on a Sunday and putting the filling in a hot pie. And that if you're making with me today, just wait a little bit. Or if you're making it later, want to give it a try, have the crust cool. Okay. It would be awful if I fell, or if this fell on its way over here. Okay, I'll get the filling. And I am going to turn my oven up to 400 for the meringue. Nope, that didn't work. Bake. There. So that's preheating to 400, because I like to cook my meringue at 400 for maybe 6-7 minutes till it's just a nice golden brown. Okay, I'm going to turn this down. Okay. You can see that. You see that nice filling that's going in here. All right. And you know, as I look at this, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I probably should have used an 8-inch pie plate. But I made a couple of pies this week, and I gave them away. Gave them to a couple of people. And I just had my 9-inch pie. But, oh, that smells so good. All right. We're just going to let that sit there, and we're going to make the meringue and put it in the oven for 5 minutes. Okay. So I have here my 3 egg whites. It's great when you're making meringue to have the eggs at room temperature, like it is when you're baking anything that asks for softened butter or melted butter, and you're going to be adding eggs. It's a really good idea to take your eggs out about a half hour before there. It's better. It's better. Don't know the science, but it's better that way. Actually, I'm going to change into this deeper bowl since I'm at the table. Most of the time when I'm using my egg beater, I'll put this right in the sink so that there's less splatter, and I do make a mess sometimes. And what I don't have with me, I'm going to put a little cream of tartar in this and a 1/4 cup of white sugar, which I didn't get ready. Well, that. Okay, so a level 1/4 cup. Love these dry measuring cups that I got. It's a great addition. And I know some people don't add their cream of tartar until after you've started beating. I always do it at the front, and I just give a few little shakes, and it's probably maybe an eighth or a quarter of a teaspoon of cream tartar. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to make some noise. So I'm going to beat this until it's foamy, and then I will add the sugar. And I'm going to turn it on high now. And now I'm going to start adding the sugar a little bit by a little bit. Yeah, that's great. Okay, going to take our pie back over here. Okay, I'm going to get a spoon. I'm just going to spoon it on. I like to put more in the center when I have lots. And really, the 2 egg whites are just fine too. Okay, so now I just cover my filling. I had made a coconut cream pie this week, and I made a couple of lemon pies that I was giving away. And I was cooking them all the same morning, and I was making this pie, and I covered them all, wasn't paying attention. I had no idea. And it was very specific that I had to make a coconut cream pie for this one gentleman. I had to just, I had to figure it out before I put it in the oven, and so that I could sprinkle a little coconut on the top. Now the coconut cream pie, when I made the coconut cream pie, and I put the meringue on it, I didn't put the coconut on the top right away. I waited to about the 3-minute mark, and I sprinkled it with a little coconut so it was just nicely browned. Okay, now I just use the back of the spoon, and just, if you want a few peaks, just lift it up, the back of your spoon, until it's got a nice little peaks here and there, if you like that. Okay, the oven is ready at 400. Yep, still pretty warm. So I'm going to put it in for, I think I said 6 minutes? 5 or 6 minutes, yes. I'm putting it in. So I am going to set it for 5 minutes to see where we're at. at 5 minutes. Hi, Annette Boyle. Annette Boyle. She's just a sweetheart from over near Tracadie area there. She and her sister-in-law, Mary Boyle, were on the same trip as us when we went over. Was that the Ireland trip or was that the Scotland trip? I think that was the Scotland trip that we went on that tour with Sandy Travel. And no, of course it was Ireland. It was Ireland that they went on. And went to see her the other day on our way home from Antigonish, but she wasn't home, but I called her. But nice to see you, Annette. So, how's everybody doing? I have to say one thing here. Yesterday was our son Gordy's, yes, Annette, Ireland. I see that. Oh, my new dishwasher. Okay, first let me tell you about Gordy. Our son Gordy, his birthday was yesterday, and he's camping out in Alberta, and he's coming home. He'll be home for a short while, and I'm so excited about that. So happy birthday, Gordy. He's not online because there's no service at the campsite that he is in, but happy birthday to Gordy. And my dishwasher. Did you see my dishwasher? Here it is. It's still got the plastic on it. I finally got it from Brennan's because the kids gave it to us for Mother's Day, and it's been at Brennan's house, and we weren't allowed up to Halifax area. So Mitchell was up there on business this week, and he took it home, and he was busy going to install it, and gosh darn it, the hardwood floor has to be cut, and it has to be snugly put in there, so it's not hooked up yet. I still have dishpan hands since my old one went pot. Gordy is actually a favorite. Who wrote that? That's got to be one of our kids. I missed it. But yes, I was telling you before that Krista and Charlie came yesterday, and they left just before the show to go back because Scott is it's Father's Day, so they wanted to be back for that. So it was really nice to have them for the night, and we were all gathered at Mitchell's. And on Tuesday, Kelly and little Rosie are coming for a few days, so we're so excited about that because we haven't seen her. We never even got to see her for her birthday in May when she turned 1. So we cannot wait, and her gift is here as well. So I'm happy. Margie wrote it. Thank you, Holly. They all say that Gordy is the favorite, and I did a post yesterday about Gordy. I used to be a leader in 4-H, for anybody who wouldn't have seen that, who's not my personal friend on Facebook. So I was a leader or I don't know if I was, I was a leader. Yeah, I was a leader. But they used to have, part of it is dealing with livestock and that end of things. And then the other end of it is doing demonstrations and showing people how to make something from start to finish, and the method that goes with that, and the order in which you do that, and how you present it, and you're judged on that, and your articulation, and how you say, honorable chairperson, honorable judges, and all of that sort of thing. So you have to, I think it's 11 that you have to be in 4-H. Gordy was not 11, so anybody younger than the regular age has to be, I think they're called clover buds. It's been a long time since my kids were young and in it. But anyway, one of the most important parts of 4-H was teaching you how to be a public speaker, and you were judged on public speaking and all of that. And I had a little entertainment group as well at that time. And so Gordy decided to do a talk about being the middle child. So there's 3 kids older than him and 3 kids younger than him. So he's the one in the middle. So he did his speech about being the best part of the sandwich. He was the peanut butter, and there was bread on top and bread on the bottom, but he was the best part. And honest to God, the judges got such a kick out of that. Okay, bell is ringing. I'm going to check on this. Actually, I think I'll take you with me so you can see. Okay, let me have a look. You know what? I'm going to take it out. I think it's just perfect at 5 minutes. Can you see it? Look at that color. It's the perfect color. I'm going to turn my oven off. There we go. Wish you could have a little bite of that. All right. So I am going to put it on the cooling rack for the next 25 minutes or so. And I'm just going to talk to you for another minute here before I introduce you to Steve. There. Hi. It's warm in here. But guess what? I have an air conditioner, but I turned it off because it was too noisy, really. And so I'm looking forward to having the air conditioner for the summer. And it looks good. So anyway, we're going to leave that for the next 25 minutes. And we'll have a slice and a cup of tea. I forgot to have a sip of tea with you last week when I was finishing up. Heather Pike. Oh, that's great, Heather. I'm sure it will be looking the same. But I wanted to tell you too, in case some people leave before the entertainment begins, when you are cutting, what works for me, I'm not saying this is the best thing or gospel, but to cut a pie that has meringue on it, what works best for me is a serrated steak knife, and I run it under the cold water. I'm going to show you the knife that I use. Somebody was calling me on my phone while I'm doing this, so that might have interrupted something there. So this is my steak knife that I use. It sees the serrated edge, and I run it under the cold water, and I make my first cut all across the pie, and the meringue does not stick to the knife. It'll probably make a liar of me today, but then I make sure I clean it off, and I dip it again and do it across until I have 8 or 6 pieces, whatever size your pie plate is. All right, so that's what I do. Okay, people, guess what? It's the fun time, and I'm going to introduce you to Steve McIntyre, and he's here just relaxing on my step, but I have something very interesting to tell you. Now, his dear partner, Robin, couldn't be here today, so you'll have to forgive me for a minute. As you know, this is the part where I let down the legs of my tripod, and it makes lots of noise. I apologize, but we'll try to talk. Okay. Are we crooked enough yet? Steve, you've been doing this a long time. You probably have a solution for me. And I don't want that to fall. Okay, we're almost there, folks. I'm on the last leg. I think I got it. Goodness gracious. We're here. Oh my gosh. Trouble. Ah. Well, you'll catch it on the replay if you're having trouble. I don't know. It could be my transmission to you. I don't know. We don't have the best internet, but I use data on my phone, which is supposed to make it a little bit better. Pie looks delicious. There. I do. I know I need a second one. I should. Gosh. I've done a lot with a lot of Amazon made money on me this year trying to find things that I would like. And yes, just hold on a second, Steve. So, before I introduce you to Steve, I have a little gauntlet to throw down with his lovely partner, Robin. She thinks that she makes better cinnamon rolls. And Steve took them down to me.
They're delicious.
They are. They look absolutely delicious. So there now. What do you think? What should we do? Should I bring her on the show and let's have a little fight on our hands? I've not ever met Robin, but by gosh.
Great. It'll be a good face-off.
But oh my gosh, they smell delicious. Anyway, so I'm going to enjoy one with Robin, if you're watching, thank you for the cinnamon rolls, and I know that they're delicious. Okay, well, I lost.
Are we still okay with that?
We're still good. I lost my microphone. That's okay. That's just the way. So, people, this is Steve McIntyre from Port Hawkesbury. Steve, I'm going to pull over the curtain here.
Yeah, we washed out a little bit, are we? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this so we can see you better.
Seems good.
How's that?
That's great.
That's much better. And if you've watched the YouTube video, you'll hear the beautiful song that I mentioned before. And there are many more like that. Steve, you have a YouTube channel?
I do. It's Steve McIntyre Music. You can pretty much find me anywhere online if you just type in that phrase or those few words, Steve McIntyre Musical.
Yeah, and it's Steve with a V.
With a V, yeah.
Steve. Well, so Stephen is Steven. That's your name. You know how many people use the PH?
Yeah, because there's a PH too.
Yeah.
PH for Stevens too. But
and he's a Mac.
I'm a V and I'm a Mac.
He's an MAC Mac, and that's where you'll find him. And I know there's lots of great people on there who will find it and throw the link on there for us. And do you have a Facebook page?
I do. Just Steve McIntyre Music as well. You can find that or my own name, Steve McIntyre. I've tried to streamline it so that when you type that in, it'll get you to me. Right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Robin just posted.
Did she?
The match is on.
Oh, good. Good. And I saw somebody else say that's a great idea. To have a little,
Yes.
yeah, we were just being devilish.
I know, we were just having some fun here.
I took a bite of Robin's cinnamon rolls a long time ago, and I said, "Mary Janet, eat your heart."
Yes, see?
Right? So that's where that kind of started. So I said to her, "You should make a batch, and I'll go down to Port Hood and I'll start a war."
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to get going here. All in good fun.
Oh, it's good. It's good to have that. My God, to have that interaction. And
Yes.
after all this time, we have to have a little bit of fun.
You do. right? You do.
We really do. We need it. Okay, Steve's got 100 million songs under that belt, not just cover songs, but a lot of songwriting behind him. And Robin writes as well.
Robin writes as well. Yeah, she started
And-
writing after she met me, and
Yeah.
we've done a few things
Beautiful.
together. So,
Yeah, I love that one song. So listen, I will let you be, and I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna unplug that lamp,
Okay.
so it's not just
Okay.
giving you a halo.
Sure.
How's that?
That's great.
Is it not too dark?
Yeah, I think that's better. I think it's much better, actually. And I hope everybody can hear everything. We do a weekly live stream on Facebook ourselves. Robin and I call Live from the Robin's Nest. Kind of clever, right? And
like that.
we had a small contest at the outset of things for a friend or a listener to name our newly formed live stream, and so that was the winner, Live from the Robin's Nest. So we've ran with that for the last year and a half or so. So if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday evening, most Saturday evenings we try and pop on at 8 o'clock and share some songs and stories with you all and things like that. And I just wanted to take a quick second before I start and say thank you so much to Mary, Janet, and Cecil for having me in their lovely home. And I know it just by looking around, it's a house filled with love and activity for many, many years. Like pictures everywhere, and I've known a few of the Mary Janet's kids personally over the years, and just a lovely, lovely crew. So thank you for having me aboard, and I thank you for supporting the music too. And
Look, anything I can do to
agree.
support our local musicians, especially this year. It's been difficult.
Yeah, it's been rough.
For some that depend on that income.
You had to zig when you should have zagged a lot of
Yeah.
times, and restructure things and learn new stuff along the way. But it's been good. It's been good, a good learning experience at the very least.
And a very creative time for some, where
Yes.
they couldn't. They even,
Right.
the songwriting came out. with
Yeah,
so
that's
many.
right. And so you have a YouTube. This is a YouTube thing as well, right?
It is. I have a YouTube channel,
Right.
Tunes and Wooden Spoons,
Yeah.
and gosh, it makes everybody just think outside the box.
That's right. Do it a little different.
and just
So I'm just
who
glad
would've
people
thought?
kept doing it.
Exactly.
Just do it a little different. So.
Yep.
So if any of you YouTube folks are watching us today, maybe you could type in my name in a YouTube search and subscribe to that channel too.
Subscribe, yes.
Lots
That's
of,
important. I don't even do that enough.
Yeah.
Myself,
Yeah.
to tell people to subscribe, because you can make money off that.
Eventually.
Eventually, if you
yeah.
get so many.
You might get enough for a
I
sandwich
don't even know
someday.
what the magic number is.
I think it's 1,000 people you can monetize your channel.
Oh, really?
So-
Because I think I have over 5.
Yes, you're laughing.
So maybe.
You gotta look
Well-
you gotta look into that. See,
Sure, I will.
for sure.
Well, I'll clean up here. and
Yeah,
you
we'll get
figure
rolling
it
here.
out.
I'll start with the song that Mary Janet mentioned that Robin and I made for the people in Colchester County and Portapique in particular. This is called "Too Small a Town." There ain't nothing like a winter's day to ruin the hope of an early spring. Thought the wind might take my breath away, but not the news that the day would bring. Turn on my radio, but I had to turn it down. 'Cause it was just too big a story, too small a town. Though I wish I may, though I wish I might, put a candle in the window for a little ray of light. herself to sleep tonight. Well, amazing grace is in the air today. There's confusion on the ground. Too many bells are ringing out, and it's a low and mournful sound. And every flag in every little town is flying at half-mast. Well, they're searching for the answers, questions no one's asked. Oh, I wish I may, and though I wish I might, I put a candle in the window for a little ray of light. Nova Scotia cried herself to sleep tonight. Now the flags are burning up with red and gold. Heaven's angels come to carry them home. Though I wish I may, and though I wish I might, put a candle in the window for a little ray of light. Nova Scotia cried herself to sleep tonight. Nova Scotia cried herself to sleep tonight.
I can't get through it without a tear or a chill up my arm, and that's the truth. Steve, he brought this to me as a little present. How beautiful is that? Where can they get this? Downloadable?
They can get that on, it's downloadable. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you typically would buy music. It's available. It's available on Bandcamp as a digital download. It's available on our website at stevemcintyremusic.com and pretty much everywhere.
And
It's not hard to find.
how many do you have?
Of those?
No, how many CDs do you have out?
Oh, that's my first
This is
one.
your first one?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh, if you can, that would be so nice.
I would
And
love
that
it.
song is on here.
It is.
There are how many? 6?
It's 5 songs.
5 songs.
5-song EP. Yeah.
Bluebirds, Catch My Breath, Too Small a Town, which is the one he just sang, Highland Promise, and Keeps Me Hanging On. I can't wait.
Buy it up. Buy it
Yep,
up.
definitely.
And since it's Father's Day, big happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I am one myself, and hoping to have a conversation at the very least with my boy later on today. And I just wanted to say hats off to y'all, all you guys who are doing right by your family, your kids, and your wives, and all that stuff. It's not as hard as being a mother, I don't think, but it's probably second in line. So happy Father's Day, everybody. I'd give my right arm, I suppose, to sit and have a cup of tea here at Mary Janice with my own dad, or a cold beer someplace and a steak. It would be my treat. I'd be buying today, but things don't always turn out the way we like. But what I can do for my pa wherever he may be, is playing one of my songs that he always loved. It's the first song I ever wrote it. I wrote it in his basements, and I had just received a gift from a friend, a book called Culloden by a guy named John Preble.
Oh, yes,
And
I know that.
good, yeah, it's a bit of a heavy read, a lot of
It
names
is,
and dates
it
and
is.
places and stuff like that. But I took as much as I could from that book, and I made a song called Highland Promise, basically about a Highland soldier writing home to his sweetheart. Her name is Maggie, and she's waiting back home on the farm for him to come back from the fields of Culloden. And this is his promise to her that he will do so. Again, this is on the it's on the new album, and I hope you enjoy.
Oh my God! I was at Culloden twice.
Were you?
Twice.
I want to get
and
over there.
Beautiful, and my cousin actually has he slew. Oh well, this is a distant cousin. Slew 11 men before he was killed himself.
Really?
And his name was Ian McBain. McBain.
Yeah.
There's McBain and McBain, and it's either or.
Okay.
But it's quite moving, that whole story.
It is.
And,
It's. I did a bit of research on it over the years, right?
Yeah.
Just because of this song mostly, and
Yes.
boy, oh boy, I hope we never see anything like that again in
Never.
our day,
Oh,
right?
never.
You know, that kind of combat is. Those days are gone and behind us, thankfully. It was a very bloody and merciless affair by all accounts, and I don't know that it really achieved anything,
No.
because we didn't. I say we like it was back, that was us back then, but they didn't get their Scottish king on the throne, so
That's right.
they got a whole lot of heartache instead. But anyway, this is called Highland Promise. I hope you enjoy it. It's to you, my dearest Maggie, you're feeling alone. I've started to feel that way too. The soul of a clansman lie dead at Culloden, and all of my thoughts turn to you. The Inverness road has become quite a bog. The sleet, the hail and the rain, and all that I can hear through this damned Highland fog are the drones of the pipes in my veins. If you keep the door open, I will come along just as soon as the night falls upon us. We're being slaughtered by the redcoats, but I'm coming home. Here's to you, my one Highland promise. The last charge was a bad one, and many went down. The bayonets nearly run us all through. And those poor MacDonald boys, oh how proudly they marched. They've been murdered from 12 down to 2. But if you keep the door open, then I will come along just as soon as night falls upon us. We're being slaughtered by the redcoats, but I'm coming home. Here's to you, my one Highland promise. Well, I must go, my dear Maggie. Bonnie Charlie has called, and the battle is starting anew. And all of our soldiers, and now they're retreating, but I will fight one more battle for you. And if you keep the door open, I will come along just as soon as night falls upon us. We're being slaughtered by the redcoats, but I'm coming home. Here's to you, my one Highland promise. We're being slaughtered by the redcoats, but I'm coming home. Now here's to you, my one Highland promise. Thank you, folks.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Means a lot to
Yeah.
remember that. I have something to show you after
course,
the
yeah.
show's over about Culloden that you
Oh.
may appreciate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was actually lucky enough to play that at Celtic Colours this past year with Ashley McIsaac
Did you?
and Mary Beth Cardy.
Yes.
Yeah, Ashley was gracious enough to ask me on his gig kind of thing, and so
He is
I was-
just a great,
Ashley's a fabulous human,
just a great human
Yeah.
and a great musician. But
ambassador.
and yeah,
you know.
just all of those
He's-
things.
yeah.
I can't wait for him to be able to get home again.
I know.
because he's
I know.
been hurting in Ontario, just
Yeah, it's been
being
bad,
alone
you know.
and no music and
Yeah.
trying to.
Well, you lose your identity, I think, in a way, right? I mean, Ashley's been on stage almost every night of the week since he was a child, and that's a big
Exactly.
part of what he
Of
does.
your
And,
life,
you know, and so it's been a bit of a run for everybody and for all us musicians. So any support for myself or for any of us out there in any way that you can help us out is oh so much appreciated. And if we get time for one more song,
We had time for another couple of songs, but you know what? Somebody is coming to the door.
Okay.
If you can hold off
Sure.
a second.
We have company.
I can see company coming.
It's company.
Come on in. No.
I think that door's probably been nearly worn off the hinges over the years, Mary Jane.
Isn't that the truth?
But I tell you, if anybody was to follow their nose, it smells so good in here right now that you couldn't help but come to the door, right?
Come in.
Yeah.
I will explain it. Look, you guys can have a seat at the table. The tea, I just said it. We have a surprise. We have the daughters of the lady the recipe I made today from Glencoe Mills. Yay! We've got Sarah Bell here, Josephine and Joan. Joan's all the way over in Sydney now, and Josephine's in Mabu, and Sarah Bell's in Mabu, and they're going to come and taste their mother's pie and see. It better be good.
Pressure is on.
The pressure is on. You guys, please have a seat at the table.
Want me to close this, Mary Jane?
Yeah, you can close it. That would be great. Steve has got another couple of songs to sing.
Beautiful songs.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So maybe I'll just continue with the Father's Day thing. I actually wrote this song for my grandfather, and he was a man that I never met. I came along just about 10 months, I think, after he left us, and so I never got to know him. And so I always had so many questions about the guy that about a year ago I started calling around to my aunts and uncles and asking those questions just to see if I could get some sort of indication of what he was like, kind of a man he was and things like that. And so I wrote this one. Of course, my grandpa, his wife had died before he did, and left him with 11 mouths to feed in Point Tupper there, just near Port Hawkesbury. And I mean, what man on this earth knows what to do with 11 kids all of a sudden, right? So I could only imagine the turmoil in his life, around that kind of thing. And so these are the kind of things that I was thinking when I made this song. It's called Leave a Light On. I'm going to send it all the way up to heaven to my grandfather, and hopefully him and Dad are sitting having a game of cards or something like that. rumble of the train past the Hotel Lorraine. The coal scattered on the ground, and that's what I'll use in a little whiskey too. And it'll keep me warm tonight when the sun goes down. And there'll be supper on the table if the girls are home from school, 'cause the boys are always off somewhere in town. And I don't blame them, I would be too, with sure beats watching their old man break down. 'Cause the Lord took my woman and carried her away, and now the devil takes my money, I suppose. Pass me the bottle and that old paper bag, and leave a little light on when you go. Now the walls are feeling tight at the station house tonight. I got holes in both my pockets anyway. And outside an autumn breeze is dancing with the trees, like neither of them seen a winter's day. And there's a lonely flashing light down by the bridge. There's an old tomcat walking up the tracks. He knows more than I do about raising up his kids. Can anybody make some sense of that? For the Lord took my woman and carried her away. The devil takes my money, I suppose. Pass me the bottle in that old paper bag, leave a little light on when you go. Now the winter hit Point Tupper and the house is freezing cold. There's so many mouths to feed, Ma, why'd you have to go? The Lord took my woman and he carried her away. Now the devil takes my money, I suppose. Pass me the bottle in that old paper bag. Now won't you leave a little light on when you go? Pass me the bottle in that old paper bag. And you can leave a little light on when you go. When you go, when you go, when you go. Thanks so much. Oh, audience, that's
It was
great.
beautiful, and isn't it great to have some feedback?
It is.
I'm just so excited about this. You don't know. I'm so excited.
fantastic.
To have the Beaton girls here is just phenomenal. And I was talking about your mom and your aunt and how I just remember them so well. I love to see them because they always had badness.
Oh, definitely.
You know, they always had, you know, we're looking for that little funny, little mischievous stuff, don't you know? So listen, this is what I'm going to do right now, Steve. Can you play one more song after this?
Absolutely.
I'm going to watch this fail on me now, people. I'm going to cut the pie, as I promised, with how I cut it. And let's hope that I don't mess up that meringue. So I'll bring you over to the table, and we'll come back in a minute here and see if I can do this. And I got chairs in the way. I don't usually do it from this end. Okay. And And this poor little pie. Can you see that pie? I'm going to do it this way. I can go down further on that side. There, that's better. You can see the pie now. Okay, so I have, usually I just do it with the tap water, but I'm going to use it, the steak knife, serrated edge. Oh, please, God, let this work.
This is where you curse.
Yes, I know. So,
Used to be when you cut a pie or a cake and there was icing left on it, you have to tell your girlfriend.
isn't that the truth at birthday parties?
Yeah.
I know that. We used to do that with the kids. There we go. Nice clean cut.
Peggy would like that.
Peggy would like
Oh,
that?
definitely.
All right. Now, I'm going to do it across the center. I'm really pushing my luck here. And I would never cut the pie this early. But I know when Sarah Bell brought me her mother's pie a couple weeks ago, it was still warm and we ate it and it was so good. Okay, we're getting there.
Looks pretty good.
Now, I know that it's probably different because she probably used white sugar and I used brown.
I think that would be really good, Mary Janet.
So it's just because and had I known that you were up, I would have been texting you, Sarah Bell. Look at this.
6 o'clock any day.
Okay. Now, one more cut. Let's see how this will go. I usually would clean off the knife in between. I really do that.
Yeah.
But we'll have to do it this way today.
Like a bunch of bad kids.
Let's just give everybody a fork.
Yeah, did everybody join in?
There's a lot of other ways.
Okay, I think I've cut that all the way through. All right. This is the real test. Is get that first piece in. Look, I broke the crust. Okay, Steve.
Look at that.
Okay, Steve.
Is that
This the first piece is for the musician, so he can eat
Oh,
and then play for us.
Right here behind you. Thank you.
There you go.
Looks absolutely beautiful.
All right.
is it okay to have this in here?
Yes, it is.
Cecil, I hope you're chair.
There you go.
What?
Sarah
I'll
Bell.
have mine later. If there's any left.
And Josephine. Or Jones.
Thanks. Thanks, Mary Janet.
Cecil, you gonna have a
No,
piece?
thanks.
I have to have a piece, even though we're gonna have supper a little later. So there we go, folks. That kind of worked.
Oh my God.
So what do you think? Would Mom approve?
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Look at the three
She would.
sisters. I love it. And just look
And
at
her
you.
favorite line was, if you're going to do something, do it right.
Do it right. I
Very
love
luck.
it. I love it. How's Steve doing over there?
Delicious.
What do you think, Steve?
It's incredible.
You
Try
think-
not to get my hands sticky.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna play you another song.
Here we go. Okay.
Brown sugar from now on, Mary Jane.
Seriously.
Yep.
And the only reason I used brown sugar, and that's the truth, is because when I make my 2-crust raisin pie, it was brown sugar. And I was reading the recipe, and it was too early to call you. And I said, oh, gosh, funny if it isn't brown sugar, given the old-fashioned recipe for the raisin pie. Oh, there's Happy Father's Day to Cecil. Cecil, say hi.
Hi.
He loves the camera. No, he doesn't. And so because I find that brown sugar is a lot sweeter, I cut it down. It asked for 3/4 cups of sugar, so I cut it down to a half a cup of brown sugar. And then I said, okay, the rhubarb pie, you didn't cook the crust first. And I said, oh my God, I wonder if I'm supposed to cook the crust first. I wasn't sure, but because the rhubarb wasn't cooked, that took 25 minutes. So I said, no, I'm just gonna do the pie crust. But anyway, what we made turned out great, I think. So there now, people. We're gonna bug Steve while we're gonna have our tea, and then I'll wrap it up after the song is over, and have my sip of tea and my piece of pie with you.
Am I back on?
You are on. You're on. If you can,
Can you see me?
I'm just gonna make that happen.
Straightened out here. That's good.
There you go.
Take my hat off to eat. My father would hang me if I had a hat on at the table. It's just an old. It's been
Isn't
drilled
that-
into me, right?
Yeah.
Any place I go, if I go through a drive-through and order a hamburger and I sit in the car and eat it, I
Take your hat off.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It's just the way
Okay.
things were in my place, and this recipe is out of this world.
You
It's delicious.
like it?
You know, and I'm not even a tea drinker, but when Mary Janet offers you a cup of tea on Stones and Wooden Spoons, you become a tea drinker, right?
Oh my God, I love all of these musicians. They are so generous with their time and their talents. So you take it away, and
Thanks
then
for giving us a platform to do this kind of thing, Mary Janet. It's important.
It's a great way to promote Cape Breton,
Yeah.
and it's people who have, basically, there hasn't been a platform for them in a while now because of this, and then that online ultimate party started. Whoever started that, and there's been lots of. And we want people to come to Cape Breton and listen to the music and go to the Red Shoe and go to West
Definitely.
Marble for the fill and the square
Yeah.
dances, and let all of that come back
Let it
and
come
have
back.
them
Must be wicked
come.
I feel bad for the fiddlers
Oh.
and the dancers. I mean, how long has it been since?
Yeah, they haven't been able to dance with a partner. I'm so crooked here, and I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, there we go.
I think you got it all right.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Whatever. I can see you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have a seat here, and then I will.
Enjoy your tea and your pie.
I'm not taking the first bite until I go back with the people, because I usually have a bite of what I make with them,
Gotcha.
because they're here for a visit.
That's right. That's right. So I'm going to play you another song here. This is off, Mary Janet was kind enough to show you that album that I just put out this year, and this is the single I just released off it. It's called Catch My Breath. I made the song for the other cinnamon roll baker in our lives here. So send this one out to Robin. Be ready, honey, on the step when we got to go to St. Peter's after this. So we got to have warned her. She got to be quick, right? We're going to be pressed for time. Catch my breath. Well, the light don't always shine between your heart and mine. I got hope. 'Cause we found each other somewhere near the end of our roads. Something about you settled in my chest. I tell you that I loved you if I could only catch my breath. 'Cause I've been fighting off the demons, found themselves a home inside my head. Most days I've been feeling like I can't get out of bed. There's something about you, ain't like all the rest. I tell you that I love you if I could only catch my breath. But I can't see why you're hanging on to me like I'm not some kind of hopeless case, not some kind of thief. Every time I say your name, I can't hardly breathe. There's a line of shadows I don't think the light could ever break, until I watch you sleeping. It's almost more than I can take. There's something about you that scares me to death. Tell you that I love you if I could only catch my breath. I'd tell you that I love you if I could only catch my breath. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Okay, this is just way too high for me. I'm gonna have to do this.
It's a creepy little machine. Freaked me right out.
Okay.
If it was the fall.
Okay, that's as good as it gets. So, number one, I want to thank you, Steve, very, very much for coming. So make sure you check out his Facebook page and his YouTube channel, Steve McIntyre Music. And if you so desire and you love his songs, just, you know, you can download that album that he put out with 5 songs on it. It's just awesome. I love everything on it. And I want to thank these ladies right here. Where are they all? There they are, right there. And I want to wish Cecil a happy Father's Day. So anyway, I'm going to have a taste of the pie with you all. So there's my piece of pie. There we go. And we'll have a little piece. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good. Look at this. Love you more. Isn't that the sweetest cup? I love it. Have a little sip of tea. A little strupik. A strupik of tea. Anyway, there you go for another Sunday afternoon. Happy Father's Day again to all the dads out there. Next week, we're going to be making, I'm undecided, but I think we're going to make the stuffed pasta shells for next Sunday. It's they're delicious. So this week, if you can find jumbo pasta shells, I do know that they're at the Superstore in Port Hawkesbury. That's where I got them. And we're going to stuff them with cottage cheese, Parmesan cheese, garlic, maybe some basil, salt and pepper. And then we'll put, and you just have to get a bottle of your favorite marinara sauce, pasta sauce. It's a quick and easy meal. I'm all about quick when it comes to meals. Cecil is the cook for the meals for the most part, but I have a few things that I like to make, and the stuffed pasta shells I really like. It's nice with the side of baked chicken or a nice salad. So I think that's what I'll make next Sunday. If you can't get the stuffed, the jumbo pasta shells, just get some of the manicotti noodles and or their cannoli, and you can stuff them. And anyway, more about that on Wednesday when I post the ingredient list, which I've already kind of told you all about. So we're going to be making that next Sunday. And so thank you very much for joining me once again to have a little Cape Breton visit in my kitchen. And you know that you matter so much to me. You keep me going every week. I love hearing from you all. Thank you very much. And I love you. And I want you to love everyone. So have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Hey, hi, it's me, Charlie. If you like Grandma's video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Give it a like and subscribe.